What's up, guys? Tom from Quirky's here. We are doing a little bit of a point of view keg breakdown today. I'm going to look at a Wallach keg. We're going to take a peek at its parts and talk about what everything's called. So right here in front of us is a 5-gallon brand new Amsil Wallach keg. You can tell right off the bat it's Wallach because of the way the posts are designed. Wallach kegs are don't have pins right off the side. That's what makes a pin lock keg a pin. Wallach kegs are smooth all the way around. Other than on the gas side, you'll always notice a little notch carved into the post, whereas the outside for your liquid is completely smooth. So that little notch can really help you determine whether you have gas or liquid if you can't see on the keg if it's not marked clearly. So this one is marked out right there, but sometimes you have to check the post itself. For connectors, the way these connectors work, very straightforward. You pull up on this section here, and then we're going to slide onto the post and down. To pull off, exactly the same thing. We have two different styles for the keg. We have gas is black, liquid is gray. These ones right here are with a 1/4 inch barb. We can also get them with a 1/4 inch flared MFL. So I really prefer the 1/4 inch flared MFL because that lets us put different connectors and different hose barbs on there to match the size of our hose. Or if you're using a gas one, then you can make sure to get the nice big 5/16 barb for your red gas hose. You can also get these guys in fully stainless, which has a neat advantage of they come out horizontally. So if you are needing a little bit of extra space height-wise, sometimes that can do it for you. Okay, on this keg, very, very straightforward. We have two posts and the lid with a relief valve here on the lid. To vent pressure from the keg, you pull up. Otherwise, these are designed to vent if there's too much pressure built up inside the keg. Always want to make sure they're tight, and because they twist off just like that. So make sure they're tight when you're checking your keg. And then these two posts, in for gas, out for liquid. The lid, it's a brand new lid, it's a little stiff. Pull up, twist, slide out. And then here on the inside you can see we've got a long dip tube that goes all the way to the bottom, and you can't even really see it, but a very short dip tube on the gas side. On the lid itself, this gasket here is very important. You want to make sure that it's round. If it's stuck in an oval shape, it's probably a little old. And you want to make sure that it's smooth all the way around. Should feel round between your fingers. If you feel a flat edge somewhere, it's probably been in place too long and you should replace it. These are very, very inexpensive, and it can mean the difference of having a flat beer if you have a bad gasket. Same thing with these gaskets on the posts. Super important, especially with our climate here in Colorado. They have a tendency to dry out and get damaged pretty easily. So when you're filling your keg and using it, always inspect visually just to make sure it's not torn or frayed or worn or starting to crack. On the inside, here's what that dip tube looks like. And you can see there's a very small gasket right there. On the gas side, really similar, much smaller. To remove these posts, I highly recommend you use either a deep socket or a ratcheting style wrench, because you don't want to accidentally strip this post, and if you're using a standard wrench, it can be a huge pain. So we're going to pull this off, and there's going to be a little spring here on the inside that's holding the poppet up. So we're going to catch that spring. And every post is posts have different poppet designs. This one has a big spring and the poppet is up there in the top. Really straightforward. And then inside here is that gasket that I was talking about and our dip tube that goes down in there. This is a standalone poppet, and it has a spring, and you can see the pin and these little feet to keep it lodged in place there. So very important to have that spring. That spring allows the pin to go down and for liquid to come up through that opening, or for gas to go down on the other side. And you can see how small that is, so if you were to get hop debris or yeast or something solid, it can clog pretty easily. All right, on these new Amsil kegs, it is an 11/16 inch size on the posts, but if you have a Cornelius keg or a Firestone keg, they will be different. So it's always good to check and make sure you have the exact size you need so you don't accidentally strip the threads or damage the post itself. If you strip the threads, it's really hard to repair, and technically with these kegs, removing the post actually voids their manufacturer warranty. So we only recommend it if they have a really bad issue, clog somewhere, or that dip tube absolutely needs to get replaced. Otherwise, leave it in there and simply clean the entire keg around it and force cleaning solution up through the post. Okay, so nice and snug there. And one last thing we'll take a peek at is the difference between a ball lock and a pin lock connector. So I talked about earlier how pin lock style kegs have pins on the posts, and the connectors themselves are built to adapt for those pins. So a gas side has 2 and a liquid side has 3. That way you can't accidentally mix them up. For ball lock kegs, they trust us a little bit more, so you don't really have the same preventing from putting one of these on the wrong post. If you put them on the wrong post, it can be a huge pain to get them back off. So always be very careful and putting the black one on the out and the gray one on the in. Something that I do is I'll label my keg the exact same way every single time, and then I can just open the fridge and be like, oh, there's the gas side because it's got my label on it. Or you could change the color of your post gaskets too. That's helpful as well. Cool. So I hope that explained a few things and helped out. If you have any questions, leave some in the comments. We have plenty of kegs on hand, every single replacement part you could possibly think of, along with gasket kits, keg lube, all that good stuff. All right, well, thanks for watching and have a great day.